He said good morning to Mike Decourcy, longtime college hoops expert for the Sporting News and Fox Sports. Mike, good morning. Thanks for joining us, man.
Ready to punch him up?
What's up, Mike?
Oh,
Hey, buddy.
There you go, Mike.
good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So,
How
Mike,
are
you've
you?
been doing this a long time. In fact, we were talking about it. We've been doing the radio show for 30 years. You came on when we were just a weekend show.
You're one of our first
Do
guests.
you enjoy covering the sport as much as you did back then? Because it's changed so much.
I do. I've seen, obviously, in 30 years, a lot of different iterations of college basketball, and I've loved all of them. But I love this one more than some. I enjoy this sport more than I did when I knew, for instance, 10 years ago, maybe even a little less, that there were players who should have been in college basketball, but left out of desire, or in some cases probably desperation, to make some money in this game, knowing that their athletic careers have a finite element to them, and they just couldn't continue to not make money playing, and I thought that to be a shame. And now that's not an issue any longer. Now athletes stay in the game because in some cases, in all cases, they're at least compensated, and in some cases they are compensated at a level beyond what they'll probably earn as professionals.
Are you okay with the entire process? I mean, there's got to be some changes made, don't you think?
I think the one change that I think would help a lot. Well, first of all, in order to get there would have to be some sort of collective bargaining to get there. But I think the one change that I would like to see is that you can transfer one time,
right,
and play immediately. But that if you want to do it a second, then at that point you have to sit. And I don't think you should lose eligibility for that, but I think a second time you could sit out a year. You could transfer and sit out a year, but that should be a redshirt year. If you do it more than once, then we start losing years.
Right.
I mean, more than twice, you start losing years.
I agree. Yeah, unless your coach gets fired or leaves for another job, you could.
Right. When that rule was in place, I was writing the year in residence rule was in place. I was writing that in the event of a coach departure for more money or a firing, that you should be immediately eligible. So even before we had immediate eligibility for everyone, I thought that at minimum that should have been the case.
Right. Agreed.
So Mike, we've had a couple guests on recently, including Tim Brando, who love Michigan. Do you love Michigan as much as these guys? I can't even remember the second guy, but they have Michigan as the best team in the field.
I do not. I liked Michigan. I mean, love is a strong word. I really, 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 really liked Michigan when they were whole. I like Michigan. I like Michigan maybe now, but I don't think that the absence of L.J. Kaysen is going to be easily covered, especially at the level that we're talking about now. He's only a backup point guard, if you want to put it that way. But that's the one position where Michigan isn't consistent, let's say. Elliot Cadeau's a talented player, and there are moments when he can and will win you a game. But I never was comfortable with the idea of him as an obvious championship point guard, the way I am, for instance, Jaden Bradley at Arizona. There's a guy that I feel really confident in, will make the right play, will show up every time. And maybe he's not going to make every shot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, no one makes every shot. Steph doesn't make every shot. But if he's not on that night, he's not going to keep forcing it or whatever. I had my questions about Elliott. They have been verified at times this year. They have been obliterated at times this year. But there was always the idea that if he wasn't right that day, that LJ could come off the bench and fix a few things. It didn't happen there in D.C. The night that they played Duke. That was one where Cadeau couldn't get the offense generated. They were really stagnant in that game. They just weren't moving. No one was moving. The ball didn't move. And I've seen that happen a bunch since Kaysen went down. Like I said, LJ didn't fix it that night. But now that he's gone, he's not going to fix anything.
And I think you kind of saw that in the Big Ten tournament when they played Purdue,
Yes.
and Purdue's got the best point guard in the country. And I think you saw that, those struggles, especially defensively, because Purdue really shot the ball well, and Braden Smith kind of did what he wanted. Do you think that that's going to be the same issue for Duke, because they've got injuries as well?
It's a little different, but not. But I still worry about the injury there, because I never loved the idea of playing with a power forward as a point guard anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand this is what you have, so this is what you make of it. And Caleb Foster is not really a point guard. He's a terrific college basketball player, a player that I absolutely love as a college basketball player. But he's had to play off of his position. He's naturally a shooting guard. He's not the greatest in terms of putting the ball on the floor and creating, but a guy who, if you were playing off the ball for you, is going to be an exceptional wing defender and a quality shot maker. And as a point guard, he is both of those, but usually you're asked to do more. And because of his limitations in that regard, and because Cameron Boozer is so extraordinary, Duke built their offense alter that a little bit and maybe use Caden Boozer, Cameron's brother, more as a conventional point guard, and therefore they get better on offense because they're not limited to what Cameron can do. I mean, Cameron isn't going past anybody
right
from the top of the key. So I thought maybe they might do that, but I understand why. You don't change who you are on the eve of March Madness, and they still won the ACC with Cameron initiating much of the offense, if not nearly the all of it. And I know that they're getting worse on defense because Caden is not the elite defender that Foster is.
Right.
So I just have questions about that in terms of being able to win the championship because of that.
And it's interesting that Duke is the number 1 overall seed, and deservingly so. And man, they've got such a tough draw because they've got UConn, they've got Michigan State, they've got Kansas, they've got St. John's.
Let me put a little bit of all those names are really something, right? But like Oklahoma State won 2 championships once upon a time, and the University of San Francisco won 2 championships once upon a time. The name is great. The teams are really good, but they're not great. I mean, UConn is not great.
No, they're not.
They might have a gear where they can get there. If Braylon Mullins all of a sudden becomes the player that he will be someday, but he's not been yet, maybe just on a few occasions. Michigan State is flawed. They don't make shots. St. John's is really good. For a 5, okay, I get it. That's a problem. Kansas, since Darren Peterson started playing real minutes, look at their record. It's a disaster. I mean, I can't explain it, but a team with a guy who should be able to go out and get 40 on his own scored 40 as a team against Houston in the Big 12 tournament. So I honestly think that the better teams on the other seed lines, I mean, I don't think Florida's the best one. So, I mean, if you want to say that East is the best region because Duke's there, okay. But relative to Duke or the 1, I think the more difficult teams are in the South.
Talking to Mike Decourcy, college hoops expert, of course, with Sporting News and Fox Sports. All right, I'm going to give you 3 of the guys who are expected to be picked at the top of the NBA draft, and tell me which one is most likely to carry his team to the Final Four. You got Darren Peterson at Kansas, DeBanza at BYU, and then Acuff
at Arkansas.
That's a great question. I thought you were going to ask me which one I like the best. And as someone who spent a decade in Indianapolis and enjoyed the Pacers, A.J. DeBanza is the guy that I want the Pacers to get. And I'm sure that Wizards fans are like, no, we want him. And that's right. Because, I mean, but I think Darren Peterson, if he proves that he loves the game in the way that the best players love the game. And, KD's a DMV guy. And I've seen players who maybe love the game as much. Maybe. I've never seen anybody who loves it more. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that by playing in the Olympics 4 times when he's way past needing another gold medal and way past needing it. Oh, if you win a gold medal, you'll get another endorsement. He's way past all that. And he still can't help himself because he loves it so much. And I just admire that so much. And if Darren Peterson has 75% of what KD has in terms of desire, he can be an elite NBA scorer. I mean, he can be like an approximation of Kobe Bryant. He does so many things, but he hasn't really shown that yet. I do respect that over the last 3 weeks or so, he has put himself on the floor at least. Mm-hmm. But he's not been as good since he started to do that. And maybe he is indeed limited by injury, but then you have the concern for the NBA teams of whether that's an issue for them eventually. DeBonsa has that gear. He has that. I mean, like I said, maybe not quite to KD's level, but there's no questioning his passion for the game or for his teammates. I don't know that he can get them there because of the injury to Richie Saunders. I mean, you take 18 points a game off a 80-plus point team, and it's almost a quarter of your points. It's a lot to replace. Mm-hmm. But I think they can get to the Sweet 16. Acuff is a great player in a really difficult corner of the draw. I'm pretty sure I don't know the bracket in front of me.
I think you have them losing to Wisconsin in the second round.
Yeah, I know. They could win that game, but I believe their one is Arizona, and I don't expect them to beat Arizona.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Final Four. You've got St. John's, Houston, Arizona, and Iowa State.
Yeah, I told you why with Michigan. Would I be surprised if Michigan makes it? No. Florida, no. They're all good enough to make it. But I think that they're all a little bit more flawed than we realize. And in the case of Duke and Michigan, that's mostly injury. In the case of Florida, they devastated a B-plus SEC. They were much better than the rest of the league, but the rest of the league is mostly 4s and 5s or below. They didn't have another high-end team to conquer like Arizona did with Iowa State and Houston, or Michigan did with Michigan State and Illinois and Purdue. So I think that played into why Florida went 16 in a row or whatever it was. I think they're very good, but the guards are very flawed.
Do you like VCU over North Carolina?
I did pick that, and I'm going to be there in a few hours to see it in person. When they don't take. I'll be there in a few hours, and they'll take the floor sometime after that. But I do think they can do it. They're Carolina again, another team injury impaired, and
right.
but also flawed from the standpoint of their point guard position. They're not great there. They miss again. Wilson was the most consistent player in college basketball as a freshman. I looked at his game log, and you're looking. One of the things that we do when you make All-American, and he was third team for us, would have been higher if he'd stayed healthy. Is I pick out, okay, what's your best game? And it was really hard with him because every game was the same. 20 points every night, 9 or 10 rebounds. Every night he delivered. He didn't have those 40-point games that you said, wow. But he also didn't have those 8-point games that you said, you didn't have it that night, Caleb. Just an amazingly consistent player.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, Mike, and appreciate your time and enjoy all the games, especially the ones you're going to see today, okay?
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Mike. That's Mike Decourcy, longtime college hoops expert for the Sporting News and Fox Sports.
I always do. JP mentioned that we had him on, like, seriously, the first year we were on the show. Mm-hmm. He's one of the guys that would answer and would call. Did you ever think he'd be a legend that would be around 30 years later? I mean, I never knew. He was a college basketball guy that would come on and go with us.
Yeah.
Turns out he's an icon in the industry.
Yep. He's a lifer. He's a college hoops lifer.
Yeah.
And he still answers our calls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is very nice.
I mean, it's amazing he still has the same love, because when I think of my favorite era of college hoops, obviously when Maryland was good, but if you think of other teams, it's just ACC hoops when Duke and North Carolina are going at it, and those guys were there for at least 3 years. Like maybe 2 years. How many years do you think Rasheed Wallace played college hoops? Jerry Stackhouse. And
Yeah,
some guys would
Stackhouse
leave
wasn't
early.
there, though.
Like if you think of Duke guys like Jay Williams, that was an era where college hoops was just great.
It was a lot different. Now it's a different era. You just got to get used to it. You got to get used to the kids transferring and all the stud freshmen because there's a bunch of them in this tournament.
A lot of turnover, a lot of churn on.
But
these
there are
rosters.
older teams. I mean, Purdue's an older team. Purdue starts 4 seniors. All right, you just don't see
that's a rarity.
You don't see that amongst
Yep.
the top 8 to 10 seeds. You just don't. You don't see a lot of older guys, but that could help them.
All right, coming up later in the show, Dewey, Brandon Duhame for the Washington Capitals. He'll join us coming up at 8:45. But next, a tradition unlike any other. We're going to break down Rory's Masters Champions Dinner.
It's pretty
menu.
foofy.
It's pretty good,
Yeah.
and we will get into that next.